huge CubeSat. It's really small, but even internally, the thermal changes between on each orbit are really quite extreme, much more than we expected. Inside, they go down to about -20 and up to +15, +20 sometimes. When it gets a very slow rate of rotation.
The camera, in my camera. Again, take a second try. Okay, the rest is Photoshop, thank you.
So people sometimes ask, you know, what's the failure mode going to be on this spacecraft? The battery seems to be okay. We only use about 5%. We only discharge it by about 5% on each orbit, so that's not going to be. What I suspect is going to be a soldered.
So we're standing by. I'm not sure what we're getting, but sure we'll see.
Externally it's going -25, +25, but 50 degrees centigrade change 15 times a day.
Graham, we only have 1 minute left to the official presentation.
Yeah, okay.
And then I think you have to prepare and tell everyone, starting from basic, what we are doing here, which satellite and what we are doing.
Okay, this is a spacecraft called FUNCUBE 1. It's a very small spacecraft. It's not much bigger than that box. It's done by AMSAT NL and AMSAT UK, and it's intended primarily for educational outreach. It's intended to encourage school children to become interested in what in the UK we call STEM subjects: science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. I think that's a horrible American acronym, but it's very clear. So during the day, the spacecraft transmits high-power telemetry at about 300 high power, 300 milliwatts, and it produces a very strong signal on the ground with a simple aerial. If you could hold that up to the more vertical, probably that might.
Do we need a bigger person, or is he large enough?
No. Hopefully it should be okay. Seamus, are you getting anything on your radio?
No, not yet.
Okay.
But I wouldn't. Have you got something?
No.
Yeah, I can increase 3dB.
You have more gain than I have there, Graham.
Okay. At the moment, it's only about 15 degrees up, although I would be expecting it's only 15 degrees above the horizon. It's coming something like that. It's half. It takes about 12 minutes to get from down over there to sort of over to the southeast.
So,
but I have to say, I would be expecting to see signals by now on the dashboard here.
Do you think it's better we move outside of the trees?
I did a test here a couple of nights ago, and it was fine.
Okay.
So let's just be patient.
Stand here because of the...
There we go.
Yep. Oh, there's a signal.
Maybe.
So what is the height of the satellite?
The height is about 600 kilometers, 650 kilometers. We're just locking on to a very weak signal now. The auto tuning
937, 938.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah,
Because of Doppler.
because of Doppler. So the signal will build up as the satellite becomes closer and gets out from behind those buildings. Maybe you really, unless you're used to looking at it, you wouldn't recognise it. But the ASC is.
Here it is. Yeah. Every day I listen.
Every 5 seconds it beeps at you.
With the Doppler, we can hear the
You
Doppler.
can hear the Doppler coming down.
It's coming close.
Over there, I see the satellite.
Oh well
You do not trust me.
Of course we trust you. Okay, the signal's now building up on the display here.
Yeah, you can hear the pitch dropping here.
And now we have our very first frame of data, and all those, there's about 50 channels of telemetry that get transmitted in that 5-second period, plus some whole orbit data. Or we also have what we call Twitter messages, which are like Twitter messages that can be uploaded. So greeting
Very
messages
clear
to schools
Doppler.
If a school is having a particular event.
The change of frequency.
A teacher has done 50 years service.
Okay, I'm going to change frequency here a bit.
Yeah, that's inside the antenna.
Give it so we can hear when it goes above and then it goes away.
Yeah.
Also deployed, and they work.
And the sound starts to increase again.
We're using BPSK downlink, using FEC forward error correction, and we also we record the error count as well. So we can use that to see if we never had FEC, you know, basic AX25 doesn't have a FEC. A lot of spacecraft still use AX25 and wonder why it doesn't work so well. Well, you can look at this error count and go, my God, if we hadn't got FEC, we would be getting virtually no data because the signal's not strong enough. But all the telemetry shows different channels, battery voltages, currents and temperatures, so we can see exactly what's happening on the spacecraft. And for educational outreach, teachers, we've developed 5 or 6 exercises for teachers to use, lots of school children of different ages, but there's tons and tons of data.
Neural data.
There's tons and tons of different data that can be used, and you can see the strength of the signal now. It's looks like a nice big peak on that spectrum there. And we've now got 16 frames. Normally over a pass, we would expect to get about 40 or 50, depending on exactly how high it is and how well the antenna operator is. Depends a lot on the antenna.
3 dB more.
Oh yeah, you're much closer to it now.
Be careful.
Much better. Error count 0.
No,
Look at that. By 1 meter. So the whole orbit data is building up now. We
Low noise amplifier, pre-amplifier.
black strip
LNA.
to demonstrate radiation of energy from different coloured surfaces. So on the black panel, you can see here we've now got enough. This is we've downloaded the whole orbit data from the whole of the last 104 minutes, and you can see the rotation of the spacecraft by the temperature going up and down. There's a gap in the data. There's a bit of a gap in the data there, but you can see all the rotation, and you can see if you convince yourself, you see the gradient there of the silver panel is less steep than the black panel. That's the black panel, really steep. When it goes into eclipse, it really starts to get cold quickly. But the silver panel is more gentle because the silver panel doesn't radiate the heat back into space. It retains its temperature. What you can also see in eclipse, there are little bumps here at the bottom. When it starts to get really cold, -5, -10, there are little sort of bumps. It doesn't go straight down. And the black panel really shows plateaus. In fact, it starts to heat up a bit. And that's because although the satellite is in eclipse, it's going at some points. That face is facing the Earth, and it's the radiated energy coming back off the Earth at night that are keeping these strips slightly above absolute zero. And we had to think about why is the temperature going back up in eclipse? Well, that's because the spacecraft, that face is facing the Earth, and the radiated energy coming back off the Earth. And maybe somebody could work out whether it was cloudy or clear at that point. There's lots of analysis that can be done. One of the interesting bits about this spacecraft is that it's got passive attitude control. So there's no way of us controlling the attitude. It's just a magnet and some hysteresis rods. But the change of the spin rate is really dramatic over almost a year that it's been in orbit. It's speeded up. And we thought, oh God, it's going to really start to speed up very quickly and make it difficult for communications. And then it started to slow down. And then we thought, oh God, it's going to get too hot on one face and it might stop. And then it got really slow a couple of times, and then it speeded up dramatically by itself. And we have no idea what's doing it.
And now you are relaxed.
Well, I'll be relaxed after it's done a complete year. But yes, that's another area where some university students maybe could do an analysis much cleverer than I am to work out what is happening. Is it the currents in the bus as a sort of stack of connectors, or is it thermal heating, or whatever, or is it solar radiation? We haven't got a clue. So while all this is going on, hopefully we've been uploading data to a warehouse, because this dashboard also sends out the data that we're receiving to a central warehouse, and so that schools that don't have, you can't really see it here, but schools that don't have access to the radio, the dongle and the aerial, can log on to the warehouse and pick up the data there. And I did actually, there's a Greek guy now receiving SVHUG is currently listed as one of the receivers. If you see G3VZV Maritime Mobile, I did spot, that's this, because I registered this when I was on a boat a couple of months ago. But sometimes over Europe there are 20 or 30 stations copying it at any one time. We have in total more than 700 stations that have registered and are uploading data on a regular basis. If anybody knows anybody who has down in Antarctica or up in the Arctic, Svalbard or somewhere, we're really keen to get a ground station at both ends of the pole, because this spacecraft is in a sun-synchronous polar orbit, so that whereas here we only get 2 or 3 good passes in the morning and 2 passes in
Yes,
the
a
evening,
FUNCUBE dongle, that's it.
at the poles
Yeah.
you get 15 passes a day. 15 times a day, so that's where we gather all the data. But we've got a tremendous amount of data over the sort of 9 months it's
And
been
the
going.
software tunes it
Currently,
automatically,
we
so you don't have to do
are-
anything?
We're at
The dashboard.
1,343,643 packets, a total of very nearly 350 megabytes of data we've downloaded from the spacecraft. It's something like 70% of everything it's sent we've managed to track.
Just now with that antenna.
Say again?
With that antenna.
No. To get really good reception, you need a directional Yagi tracking. Some of the stations that are at the top of the ranking have got cross 9 elements, and they just leave them running. But this is perfectly adequate for educational school, for educational outreach and demonstrations.
Okay, if we do collect enough data, then I propose that we go back and
Yeah, I think you can put your arm down, although that's a particularly elegant mount. I hope somebody's got a photograph with the umbrella mounting. That's very good.
Have you still got it there, Graham?
That's fine. It's gone now, I think.
It's gone.
Yeah. So in that pass we got 65 frames, which is more than enough to fill up the whole orbit data.
Okay.
And to
Then
get
we will show it at the C5 meeting on the beamer, that everyone sees what's happening.
It would be nice.
That would be nice.
Yeah.
Okay, then we can. The C5 meeting, please go back to the C5 hall immediately. No coffee break.
You've done the coffee break.
No, satellite's gone. That was line. Yeah. It's every 90 minutes or so, or whatever.
I come a little bit.
What's the 90 minutes?
About every 90 minutes.
90 minutes only.
Like the ISS.
Yes, like the ISS.
Yeah.
All professional.
Yes. FUNCUBE.org.
But then somebody came to me, hey, wrong.
Sorry. Let me.
Like in business.
How do you get around it? The FUNCUBE dongle.
Okay.
Just. It started as a project just for the educational outreach of this spacecraft, and the guy has now sold 18,000. The alleged that a couple of
The Hammer Radio exhibition.
Oh, really?
All of the back.
But
And again?
That's photos and all of the back.
Yeah, sure.
So, C5, please go back.
Enough fun.
If you like, we can move the meeting downstairs. If you find a possibility that we have a projector. There's no protection there.
Now it is safe to go.
yeah.